Prior to initiating pharmacological therapy with finasteride or dutasteride, understanding the importance of comprehensive blood work is vital. These drugs, commonly used to treat androgenetic alopecia and also benign prostatic hyperplasia, function by inhibiting the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which converts testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, or as many of you know it as DHT. In the context of this therapeutic pathway, both total and free testosterone levels warrant assessment. Total testosterone represents the full amount of this hormone in the body, included both bound and unbound free forms of testosterone. However, it is the free testosterone, which is not bound to sex hormone binding globulin, also known as SHGB, that is bioactive and can convert into DHT. Therefore, having a clear understanding of the levels of free testosterone can provide insight into the possible amount of DHT that could be produced in the body. This information is especially pertinent when considering a therapy aimed at mitigating DHT's effects. The prostate-specific antigen, or PSA, is another essential marker to check before starting therapy involving finasteride or dutasteride. PSA is a protein produced by the cells of the prostate, and the level of this antigen in the blood is typically used as a primary screening tool for the early detection of prostate cancer. Finasteride and dutasteride, known as 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, can lower PSA levels in the blood by nearly 50%. While this is beneficial in terms of reducing the symptoms of BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, it can make PSA screening for prostate cancer a bit more complex. When I'm on these medications, or anyone that takes these medications, a rise in PSA could indicate a problem that needs to be checked out by a doctor immediately. Knowing my baseline PSA levels before starting this therapy, which I already did by the way, allows for a more accurate interpretation of future PSA readings and could potentially help identify any unusual changes earlier. The current medical literature seems to suggest that finasteride lowers overall risks of prostate cancer and may even be used as a preventative against it. However, it may make PSA detection of prostate cancer challenging, and for that reason, the signs of cancer that usually manifest in people with using finasteride and dutasteride, they're typically found at more aggressive stages, but for prostate exams as well as imaging exams of the prostate, detection of cancer and tumors are easier due to the prostate being smaller, so you can get a better imaging of things, and the urologist who's doing the prostate exam can get a nice feel if there's any unusual lumps and bumps in that particular area. So again, a testing urologist and or physician will adjust your PSA results while you're on finasteride to see if there's anything to be concerned about. So really, it isn't something that you have to cry and, be upset over, but it is definitely something to take into account and keep in mind. So yes, you need to have your blood work done even while you're on finasteride, and the physician will make the necessary mathematical adjustments to compensate for what finasteride is doing, and then you'll be checked thoroughly. Along with these hormonal evaluations, assessing for potential vitamin deficiencies is a crucial aspect of pre-treatment blood work. Vitamins play a crucial role in our bodies, and I think we kind of take that for granted. Oh, take your vitamins, it's good for you, you have to take your vitamins. We hear that all the time when we're growing up, but I think it often falls on deaf ears because it is something that many people are not really looking at. Moreover, I need to assess potential vitamin deficiencies in my body. So when it comes to me, I've always had an issue with some vitamins, particularly vitamin D. And as an African American living in the northeast coast of the USA, I need to pay special attention to these particular levels of vitamin D. People in general these days have issues with getting vitamin D and just general vitamin D deficiencies because we're not going outside as much as a group of people, and this is like all Americans that I'm saying this of, not just black people or anything. However, most of the year here is generally cold with reduced sunlight periods. So the darker your skin is, the more of a challenge it is to get vitamin D, and this is just the case the further up you go in latitude. and because of that, I naturally produce less vitamin D from sunlight exposure compared to those with lighter skin. A condition complicated by living in the region that I just said that barely has any sunlight exposure. Not barely, but there's a sizable chunk of the year where sunlight is pretty limited. And that being the winter months. But again, don't think, oh well, I'm a white dude or I'm whatever, so I don't have to deal with that. There are still people in northern latitudes who are pale that have issues with getting vitamin D. So just get your vitamin D levels checked out. And because I'm still going to be talking about my experience, to add to the complexity is also my personal history of a sudden fruit allergy. Yes, that sounds crazy, but a sizable chunk of my life I was allergic to all fruits. And despite enjoying fruits until the age of 10, I developed an allergy that required a decade of treatment with allergy shots. I'm talking about in the beginning, for about 6 months, I had to go in every single day to get an allergy shot. Then after that, it went to weekly allergy shots, then to monthly allergy shots, and then every other month. That was quite the hectic time. So while now I can consume most fruits without having an allergic reaction, this decade of potential avoidance might have impacted my vitamin status, since fruits are rich in essential nutrients like vitamin C, various B vitamins, and antioxidants. And yes, I am that kid that didn't take those vitamins because I thought I was better than everything. But yeah, you need those vitamins like D and B and C and whatever just for your immune system health. But also when it comes to the hair follicle itself, the hair that grows out of the hair follicle, your hair quality will be greatly diminished if you don't have proper vitamins. So in conclusion, before starting finasteride or dutasteride, have a thorough evaluation of your blood work. And I personally think this is necessary, and we kind of get lost from doing blood work because of the availability of finasteride through telemedicine services, which I'm pro telemedicine services here in the United States. I think it's really cool and very convenient. Like, imagine going to a dermatologist in the hopes of trying to get finasteride or dutasteride, and then them telling you, nah, I'm not gonna give you any of that. You don't need that. Here, try these saw palmetto pills. I've seen so many stories like that, and people have shared that with me a lot. That's kind of distressing, right? So I'm not saying telemedicine services aren't useful, but I think the readily available finasteride and dutasteride orders that you can make kind of take away from the fact that you kind of do need blood work, because again, you are altering your hormone levels in particular ways. So testosterone, LSH, free testosterone, total testosterone, estrogen levels, everything, I think, in the hormone aspect, TSH even, your thyroid hormone levels, your vitamin levels, all of that has to be checked out just so you can have a solid baseline of things, especially your PSA scores. Yeah, it's still a good idea to get blood work done, maybe every 6 months to a year. And I say that as somebody who has healthcare here in the United States, as somebody who has a pretty good healthcare plan. If you live in other parts of the world that are much more fortunate, where you don't have to pay an arm and a leg and your child's college tuition and your house just to get, healthcare, take advantage of that and go get your blood work. If you're in the United States and you don't have healthcare, I don't know if there's any sort of services that you can do, because even with having a good health insurance plan, the one that I have, you still got to pay a lot for some types of blood work as a copay. So just, if you can do it, try to do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm rambling for the most part. But if you got to this part of the video, comment apple water, because on other videos I've been doing this thing where I leave a random thing towards the end for someone to comment to see if they actually got to the end. So we've been doing pineapple juice on other videos, but apple water is going to be this one. So I don't want to stretch this video out too long. Comment apple water, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out. Get that blood work done, son.